Welcome to the Perfect Place to Put a Practice podcast. I'm your host, Mike Green from Dr. Demographics. And today we're going to talk about something that I really had a hard time with the title with this because it's such an important topic. Honestly, probably one of the most important topics when it comes to especially general practices. We're calling it the commoditization trap, but that doesn't really describe exactly what it is, I think, for most people. But commoditization in marketing for a general services, meaning that your services feel pretty much the same as any other general practitioner, whether you're a dentist, a vet, an optometrist. People, when they see your practices, they think, well, okay, well, there's this guy, or, two blocks down, there's this guy, or whatever. That's commoditization, where they say, all these guys, a dentist is a dentist is a dentist. And it's a problem, to be honest with you. And in especially in areas where the saturation of doctors is quite high, it can be an absolute death knell for new practices trying to start up because they're in that issue of commoditization. And it's just a real struggle. So today I have 6 tips that I want to give you that will help you break out of that commoditization trap. And I'll be honest, I spend all day, every day, looking at practices, locations, websites, social medias. That's what I do. And honestly, almost all practices that I watch, that I look at, there's just nothing that makes them stand out. Of course, we talk about unique selling proposition quite a bit on this podcast. We talk about differentiation using demographics and psychographics. All of those things are so important. And so if you're a doctor, if you're finding yourself having a hard time rising above the competition, this episode is for you. If you're a future practice owner and you're concerned that your practice is not going to get the exposure, visibility that it's going to need in order for you to be successful, please listen to this episode. Listen to these 6 options, tips, keys, whatever you want to call them, because they will help you rise above that competition. Now, chances are there's more things that you'll need to do. You do really need to dial into what those demographics, what those psychographics are for your particular community. The great news about commoditization is that most of your competition will be all the same. And so if you can break out, if you can stand out a little bit as a practice owner, you'll be shocked at the level of new patients that will come through the door because they see you as providing something different. And there's lots of different things that we can go through here, and I'm going to just keep it to the 6 today. But like I say, if you're having that problem, you might want to jump on our website, drdemographics.com. Order a marketing report would be the best, most ideal report to order. If that's outside the budget, look at the competition report. That also might be, it's a less expensive report, but also one that will give you some really good data. So, all right, let's get to the ideas that you can use to break out of that commoditization. So the first one, which admittedly is often very difficult for general practitioners, is to specialize in a niche within your practice. So even if you're not going to go full specialist, you still want to carve out a sub-focus that will set you apart. For most doctors, most practice owners, especially dentists, I would say in this example, there's a lot of things that you can do. You can emphasize that you're eco-friendly, or maybe it's mercury-free restorations, or for environmentally conscious patients. If you're in an area that's important to the people that are there, that can really resonate. If you're a vet, maybe you specialize in holistic pet care, or you do acupuncture or herbal remedies alongside of your general services. If you're an optometrist, maybe you do blue light protection for the tech workers at your office, and you really highlight that as a key. the important thing is that you find something that you can niche down, even though you're a general practitioner, even though, and I asked this question in our marketing course, who is it that you're targeting? And oftentimes the answer is, I'm targeting everybody. And that's not the right answer, right? Like, not who you'll treat. Of course, you'll treat anybody, but who are you targeting? Who is that key person, that key personality, that key psychographic segment that you're actually targeting? And what sub-niche do you have within your practice that's going to speak to that person, speak to their soul, speak to their values, speak to what it is that they hold dear? If you can nail that within your practice, you will be miles and miles ahead of your competition. This is something, honestly, that is so underrated in the world of marketing. You have these marketing firms that will have you spending thousands and thousands of dollars per month on ads and campaigns that look the same as your competition. Don't do that. Don't do that. Dial in. Really niche down, find a sub-market, a sub-segment that you can really dial into. And I promise you, I've seen it 1,000 times, you will have a patient explosion in a good way in your practice. All right. Second idea, elevate the patient experience to a spa-like level. Now, this has become very, very popular over the past, I would say, 10 years especially, that general offices are adding some kind of spa level services within the practice. That could be anything from, aromatherapy. That could be a heated massage chair in the waiting room. That could be complimentary beverages, possibly. There's a lot of things that can be done. Botox in some cases. Think like med spa, combining med spa with your practice. That's something that in some areas it's really taken hold, and in other areas it's not there yet. And so it may be something that if you've got a little extra space in your office, that might be something you may want to consider, because it's something that has a lot of marketing travel. And I just did air quotes with my fingers. I know you can't see me, but marketing travel means that a lot of people are going to talk about it. Maybe the local paper is going to write about it. Maybe the local influencer is going to brag about it on Instagram, this spa-like experience they had at your office. Again, not a real hard thing to do. Yes, it takes a little bit of money, but it's something that will set you apart from the other practices. Again, we're trying to break out of that commoditization. Sure, they can get a filling at your office and every office down the road, but can they have after they get the dental work done, can they spend 20 minutes in the spa room in the massage chair or something like that? Like that really can add and enhance the experience for your patients, and something that can be quite effective, and again, has a lot of marketing travel. Okay, let's talk about one that is really important. And again, we go through this very, very deep in our marketing course. But that third idea is building a strong personal brand around your story and around your values. Now, if you have done this right, and you had us help you dial into your area, and we made sure the demographics and the psychographics matched up with who you are, and one of the things that's really, really true in the world of professional services, that people like to have providers that look like them, that talk like them, that act like them, have same interests as them. And whenever we can do that, that's a definite thing that will increase commoditization. That is why sometimes when you have a quote unquote outsider, or someone who is clearly not from the area, that tries to open a practice, sometimes they struggle because maybe they look different, or they talk different, or they have wildly different values or something like that than the bulk of the population. This is certainly true in rural settings, but also can be pretty true in suburban settings as well. So patients, they don't just buy services, they buy people, they buy trust. And so if you are willing to open up that book a little bit, and I would encourage you to, absolutely, you want to share your why. why you became a dentist, for example. Why maybe you overcame your own personal dental fears as a kid, or maybe there's some kind of personal story in your life, a grandpa that inspired you, or a neighbor or a mentor or something like that that created your origin story for your practice. These are all very, very palatable things that people love. They love to dive into a story and to find out more about that person that they're about to spend money with. They want to be your friend, and not that you have to hang out with them on the weekend, but they want to feel special. And when they see you at the grocery store, they want you to come over and talk to them, and they want to brag it up that I'm friends with Dr. So-and-so. And if you are, again, willing to take that position with your patients, it can be a great thing to break out of that commoditization, and your patient referrals can skyrocket when you put yourself in that position to be that person for them. So allow them to purchase you, not just the services that you're providing. All right, fourth idea. Let's leverage cutting edge technology to showcase innovation. Now, if you've gone through our social media course, you know that I discourage practices from talking just about technology, just about innovation. And the reason I do that is because most of the time, most practices go way, way overboard in talking about the tech. And the truth is, people don't actually care as much as you care. You're the one that spent the money, so of course you care. But just like if I need to get my car fixed and I go to a mechanic and he has some, $100,000 machine in there that makes the job go better for him, like, I don't really care, right? The only thing I care about is how much time am I going to be away from my car and how much it's going to cost. And so the danger in talking about technology and innovation is that we spend so much time on the features that we forget about the benefits. Excuse me. And that's a mistake. And so if you are a high-tech office, it's not that you don't want to talk about tech, you do, but you have to focus on those benefits that they're going to receive by that technology that you've invested in your practice. And even though this is definitely something, especially if it decreases the time that they're going to have to spend in your chair, and sometimes the price, even in that case, you'd still want to be careful not to go overboard when it comes to technology. But if you are an office that is far and away the most technologically advanced in the area, you do want to position that in a way so that you get as much online social credibility as you can to get the most out of that investment that you made into your office. Okay, let's talk about number 5. So number 5 is something that I always say that some doctors have it and some doctors don't. And the ones that don't really struggle with this one because people's authenticity meter goes through the roof when you have someone that doesn't really care. And that is number 5. That's to get deeply involved in your community. Getting involved in your community is something that, if done correctly, can really cement the legacy of your practice long term. You can become an absolute pillar. You can be the one that sponsors a little league team, the one that hosts the pet adoption events, the one that offers the screenings at the schools, doing the dental workshops, the oral health workshops at the schools and senior centers. You really become that go-to practice, and this is especially true in smaller towns, that can be really, really effective. We've seen clients have their referral rates increase by 30% as they consistently invest into their community. Now, one of the best ways that we recommend for doctors to do this is to leverage their staff. Because usually you've hired staff from people that live in your community. And so those people probably have kids that go to the schools and probably have kids on the sports teams and at the churches and all those kind of things. And so invest in your staff and encourage them to be your little evangelists out there for your practice. So give them t-shirts and give them swag and give them all the things that they can utilize to be proud to wear your brand, wear your logo at all the places they are. And develop a referral program that compensates them in a fair way, as long as it's legal in your area, of course, but makes it worth their while to, again, wear your brand proudly and show off that they work for Dr. So-and-so. And again, that will help you deeply root yourself into the community. Now, if you're a doctor that does not come naturally to, maybe the social side is not something you thrive in, again, use your staff, because likely you have staff members that it does come very naturally for. And as long as you give them the right tools, they can be some of your best salespeople out there in the field. Off the clock, usually. Okay, number 6. Implement an exceptional follow-up and loyalty program. It's always amazing to me when we do a marketing analysis for a practice how poor their follow-up strategy is. They typically will hire us to help them develop campaigns to get more, but almost every single time we look at their existing patient numbers and say, the true gold is actually in the people that you already have. You're just not optimizing them well enough. Yes, you should absolutely always have an effort to go get more, but until you can truly say that we have optimized our existing list at a high level, you're going to continue to struggle. Things are going to continue to be very, very hard and expensive in your new patient acquisition strategy. Now, again, when we talk about commoditization, most practices have a very robotic follow-up strategy in their practices. So you be the one that rises from the competition, that breaks free from the commoditization, and create a follow-up or loyalty program that is irresistible for people not to buy. Now, again, that's going to be different for every community, every neighborhood. And so I'm not going to give you you should do this and this and this. And anybody that does that probably doesn't really know what they're talking about, because they're just pulling something off the shelf. And when it comes to your business and your success that you're going to have in your practice, don't pull stuff off the shelf. You've got to know the numbers. You need to know what the psychographic segments are in your community in order for you to develop a loyalty program, a referral program that is going to resonate with the patient families that live in your area. So that's the 6. Let me just review these really quick. So the first one was specialize in a niche within your general practice, or a sub-niche rather. Number 2 was elevate the patient experience to a spa-like level. Number 3 was to build a strong personal brand around your story. Number 4 was to leverage cutting-edge technology and showcase the innovation appropriately in the right way, focusing on the benefits. The 5th idea was to get deeply involved in your community. Number 6 was implement exceptional follow-up and loyalty programs. Where do you start? That's always the question. Well, please go to drdemographics.com and look at the marketing report. We're actually running a special on the marketing report through the end of the month. And if you're listening to this in the future, I'm sorry, you probably missed it. Right now, we're recording this in September of 2025. We are running a special through the end of the month to save a fair amount of money on the marketing report. And so if you don't know your numbers, if you don't know your demographics or your psychographic segments that are existing in your area, or it's been a few years since you've ran those numbers, now would be a great time. Reach out to us at drdemographics.com. You can certainly give us a call at 844-704-0499 or send me an email. My personal email is mike@drdemographics.com. And let's talk about your marketing effort, commoditization that's happening in your community, where the opportunities are for you to rise above, and the things that you can do to really stand out for your public and to build your practice. Thank you so much for joining me today for the Perfect Place to Put a Practice podcast. Again, I'm Mike Green with Dr. Demographics, and we'll see you on the next episode.